onto your knees, we're going to start off in child's pose. So big toes touching, knees slightly wider than the hips. Lean forwards and rest your forehead on the mat. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can place your head on a block or on your hands. Otherwise, extend your hands forwards or arms by the sides of the body, allowing the shoulders to relax. Staying here for a few breaths, slowing them down, breathing in and out through the nose. Just keep all your focus on the breathing, filling up the lungs fully on the inhale, deflating them fully on the exhale, pulling the lower belly in towards the spine. If your arms are by the sides of the body, now extend them forwards and press up into a tabletop position. So spread the fingers wide, make sure your wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. We're going to take a few rounds of cat and cow. So press firmly into the palms and the fingers, press into the tops of the feet. Take an inhale, look forwards, lowering your torso towards the mat and drawing your shoulders back and chest forwards. As you breathe out, round the back and bring your chin towards your chest, navel to spine. Inhaling, arching the back, looking forwards, drawing the chest between the arms. And breathing out, pulling the belly in, dome in the back, chin to chest. Inhaling, reversing that motion, looking forwards, and then exhaling, rounding the back, navel to spine. One more of those, inhaling, and exhaling. Inhale to a neutral spine, tuck the toes under, and lift your hips up and back to downward dog. Take a breath in and lift your right leg up. Bend the knee and turn your knee out to the sides, opening up the right hip. Take a couple of breaths here. Keeping the left leg strong, pressing the left heel down towards the floor, and keep pressing strongly into the hands, into the fingers. Then square off the hips and place the right foot back down. Breathe in, lift the left leg up and back. Bend the knee, turn the knee out to the side, and then up towards the ceiling, stretching open the left hip. Keep the arms strong, pressing inwards towards each other. Couple more breaths. And then square the hips and step the left foot back down. From here, step the right foot forwards outside your right hand. We're just going to rock forwards and backwards, just warming up the hips. Keeping the back leg strong, although you can place the knee to the ground if you wish. And then a gentle rock side to side. Come to stillness, step your right foot back into downward dog and step the left foot forwards outside the hand. Rock forwards and backwards, pushing back through your heel. then gently side to side. Come back to center, step back, downward dog. From here we're going to roll forwards into plank. So come up onto the balls of the feet, round the back, and take an inhale into plank position, gazing forwards. As you exhale, round the back and press back into downward dog. 3 more times. Inhale, pressing into the upper back as you roll forwards into plank, strong in the arms. And then exhaling, pressing the ground away, back to downward dog. Inhaling into plank, strong arms, strong legs. Exhaling, pulling the belly in and picking the hips up and back, downward dog. Last one, rolling forwards into plank, inhaling and exhaling back to downward dog. Step forwards to the top of the mat, feet about hip width, grab the opposite elbows in ragdoll. Take some deep breaths, allowing the weight to come forwards. If you wish, you can rock gently side to side. Keep the navel drawn in towards the spine. Then release the hands and slowly unravel vertebrae by vertebrae until you come all the way up to a standing position. Keep the feet hip width, interlock your fingers behind the back, palms together if that's comfortable. If the shoulders are feeling tight, allow the palms to open. Take an inhale, gaze up, reaching the hands behind you, and then exhale, bend the knees and fold forwards. Couple of breaths here. And then unlock the hands, let the hands rest towards the floor, and again unravel slowly, all the way up to standing. We're going to begin with a gentle sun salutation, so bring your feet to touch, big toes and heels. Bring your palms to your heart center. Standing tall, strongly, pressing your feet into the floor. Pull the lower belly in towards the spine and draw your shoulders gently back and down, reaching up through the crown of the head. Take a big breath in, reach the arms wide, gaze up as you press your palms together. As you breathe out, fold forwards from your hips. You can bend the knees for tight hamstrings and release your fingertips to the floor. Take an inhale, look forwards, lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, bend the knees, plant your hands on the floor and step back into plank position. Shoulders directly over your wrists. Pull the front ribs and the lower belly in. Take an inhale. And then place your knees to the ground, leaning forward slightly, elbows in, lower your chest between your hands. Lay the body on the ground, take an inhale, press into the hands and come into upward dog. So the only thing on the floor are your hands and your knee and your feet. As you exhale, come back onto your knees, tuck your toes under and press back to downward dog. Taking 5 breaths here. Check in with the hands, make sure your wrists are parallel to the top edge of the mat. Fingers are spread wide. You're pressing strongly into your hands, into your fingers, and making sure the mounds of the thumbs and the index fingers are rooted. Now reach the sit bones up and back, pressing your heels down towards the earth. 2 more breaths. Take an inhale, look forwards, and then take a giant step forwards to the top of the mat. Feet together, bend your knees, resting your fingertips on the floor. Keep your thighs low, take a breath in, reach the arms up by the ears for chair pose. Bring your hands to your heart center, inhale. As you exhale, hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Bring your palms together. Look down and make sure your knees stay in line with each other. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, twist to the right. It's a twisted chair. Be mindful the left knee doesn't pop forward, so draw the left hip back if need be. As you breathe out, bring your navel in towards your spine and twist deeper. Keeping the hands pressing firmly together. Breathe out and look down, taking your fingertips to the floor. Step back with your left leg. Take a breath in, reach the arms up into a high lunge. Bending the back knee, so lifting up your hip points and feeling the stretch in the left hip flexor. With your arms reaching up, wrap your right arm behind you and place it on your left hip or thigh. Take a breath in, reach the left arm up, maybe gazing up, and then exhaling, leaning back, being sure to pull the lower belly in to help protect the lower back. Keep reaching up as you breathe in, and if the back feels okay, lean back a little bit further. On your next inhale, gaze forwards, reaching your right arm back up. Step forwards. And then folding forwards from your hips. Grabbing onto your big toes with your index and middle finger. Take a breath in, look forwards, and exhaling, folding forwards into Padangusthasana. Staying here for a few breaths, allowing the weight to go forwards. As you press your thighs back, don't worry if the knees are bent. Take some deep breaths, pulling the navel in towards the spine. And then inhale, release your toes. Bring the feet back together. Bend your knees, fingertips on the floor. Breathe in, reach the arms up back into chair pose. Bring your hands to your heart center, take an inhale. And as you exhale, hook your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Take a few breaths here in the twist, being mindful the right knee now doesn't pop forwards, and if it does, draw the right hip back. So the hips stay level, facing forwards, and we're simply twisting through the torso. Remember to engage the abdominal muscles as you breathe out and twist deeper. On your next breath out, look down, release your fingertips to the floor and step back with your right foot into a lunge. Take a breath in, reach the arms up, and then take your left arm behind the back, wrap it round to your right hip or lower down to your thigh. Take a breath in, look up, reach up through the fingertips, and then pull the lower belly in, creating space in the lower back, and then take a baby back bend. You have the choice to stay here. If you'd like to go deeper, reach up, lift the chest, stretching up through that right hand, and then exhaling, leaning back a bit deeper. If it feels okay, continue to lean back as you breathe out. As you breathe in, look forward, sweep the left arm up, and then exhaling, stepping forwards and folding forwards. Feet stay hip width. You can either grab the big toes again if you wish, or if you're going deeper, slide your hands under the feet into Padahastasana, and make sure you take the toes all the way to the wrists. So your feet are pressing into your hands are pulling up on your feet. Take a breath in, look forwards, and exhale, fold. Take a few breaths here. As you breathe out, work in the pose deeper, pressing the thighs back, rolling them inward slightly. And imagine you're drawing the crown of the head down towards the floor. On your inhale, look forwards, release your hands. And then as you exhale, bend the knees, step back into plank. Take a breath in here. You can either drop your knees again, or this time high to low plank, elbows in, pulling the ribs and the belly in, lower down. Either holding chaturanga, shoulders in line with your elbows, or come all the way to the floor. Take a breath in, rolling over your toes or untucking them one by one. Inhaling to up dog. Lift the chest up, shoulders back, and then pull the belly in. Either come back onto your knees or lift the hips straight up to downward dog. Take a breath here. Pick the right leg up and back, breathing in. And then exhaling, stepping the right foot to the right thumb for warrior one. Turning the back foot out a little. Just double check the feet aren't crossing over, so they're about hip width. Take a breath in, reach your arms up for warrior one. Press strongly into the outer edge of the back foot, bending deeply into the front knee, making sure it doesn't overshoot the ankle. Relax the shoulders. If it's comfortable for the shoulders, maybe look up and press the palms together. Keep the lower belly drawing in, the front ribs drawing in. And if you're gazing up, gaze forwards. Interlock your hands behind your back, interlocking your fingers. Maybe press the palms together, take an inhale, gaze up. And then as you exhale, folding forwards into humble warrior. Lowering the right shoulder between the knee, inside the knee. Don't worry if it doesn't go that far. And then relax the head. If the shoulder is inside the knee, you can use that to gently press the thigh out, bringing the right hip in towards the center of the mat. Make sure the back leg is strong and the outside of the foot anchored to the ground. And then release the hands to the mat, either side of the foot, and step back into downward dog. Take a breath here. And then breathe in, lift the left leg up and back. As you exhale, step it to the left thumb, turning the right foot out, keeping the feet hip width. This makes it easier then to square your hips once you're in warrior one. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up, bending the front knee as you press strongly into your back foot, into the little toe edge of the back foot. Draw the left hip back, right hip forwards. And if you're gazing up, maybe pressing the palms together, but keep the shoulders relaxed. Keep bending into the front knee, pushing strongly into the front foot. Double check the lower belly is drawing in and up towards the heart center. And then if you're gazing up, inhale, look forwards, release your arms behind the back, interlocking the fingers. Take an inhale, gaze up, maybe press the palms if the shoulders feel open enough, and then exhaling, folding forwards, dipping inside the left thigh. Relax the head, think the crown of the head is reaching towards the floor, taking the arms over the head. As you breathe in, keeping the arms strong, reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, taking the arms over the head towards the floor, making sure the feet are both grounded. And then release your hands to either side of the foot and step back into downward dog, taking a breath here. And then inhale, look to your hands. We're going to come straight into a squat, so you can step or jump your feet outside your hands, turning the toes out, lowering your hips between your heels. Don't worry if your heels come up, but you can always try taking the feet slightly wider. Then bringing your palms to your heart center, thumbs to your chest, roll your shoulders back and lift the chest up towards the ceiling, pulling the lower belly in. Staying for some deep breaths here. If the feet are flat, pressing strongly into the feet and using your arms inside the legs to press the thighs apart. Now, if you're not familiar with crow, you're welcome to stay in a squat or even come back into downward dog, as that's where we'll be coming back to eventually. So, we're going to take our hands forwards, spread the fingers wide, hands are shoulder width in distance, and allow the weight to come forwards into the hands. Now lifting up your hips, placing the knees up into the armpits, or certainly on the back of the arms, maybe around the triceps, if the knees don't comfortably reach the armpits. Keeping the gaze forwards, leaning your weight into the hands, and making sure the hips are nice and high. If you're not that familiar with crow, you can practice by picking up one foot at a time. If you are familiar with crow, then picking up both feet, bringing your hips towards your heels. Staying here for a couple of breaths. Pulling the belly in towards the spine for support and pressing into the upper back. Keep pushing the ground away. You have two options here. You can either place the feet back down, step back into plank, or if your hips are high enough and you're familiar, you can jump back into plank position. And then lower down, knees first or into chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog, exhaling into down dog. Take a breath here. And then inhale, pick your right foot up and back and step it forwards outside the hand. Turn the toes out, and we're going to work into this right hip now. So come onto the outside edge of your left foot, so as though you're coming into side plank, but the right leg is going to stay where it is. Stay nice and strong in your left arm, make sure you're not collapsing into the left shoulder, and stretch the right arm back towards the back of the mat, so you're reaching towards your back foot, and allow the hips to lower. So hopefully feeling stretch into that right hip and glute area. Staying for a few breaths, allowing the hips to sink, staying strong in that left arm. If the left arm doesn't feel very comfortable, you can practice walking the left hand forwards a bit. Keeping the right foot flat, or you can come onto the outer edge. Again, seeing which one works better for you. Make sure that left leg is staying strong. And then from here, we're going to step the right foot either into the center of the mat, kind of in the middle of the long edge of the mat. And you can either stay here for a modified side plank, or step your right foot on top of your left for full side plank. Make sure your feet are flexed, your legs are strong, picking up the hips and reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling. Make sure the front ribs and lower belly are pulling in. One more breath. And take your right hand back to the floor in plank position. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, we're going to bring the knee to the nose. So the right knee to the nose. As you exhale, reach the right leg back, extend it back. Take a breath in, and then take your right knee to your right tricep, exhaling. Inhale, extend your right leg back, and then exhale, bring your right knee across the body to the left tricep. Inhale, extend back, and then press back to downward dog. Pick your left leg up and back, breathing in, and step the foot outside the left hand. Turn the toes out. Come onto the outside edge of your back foot. So think that lower leg is like a side plank, lower leg, flexing the foot. And then reaching the left arm towards the back of the mat, stretching back towards the foot. Strong in the right arm, so pressing into the hand, up out of the shoulder. And again, you can come onto the outer edge of the left foot or keep the left foot flat and pressing down. Lower your hips, work into the left hip and glute, feel that stretch. And then come into a modified side plank, so step that left foot into the center of the long edge of the mat, or stack it on your right foot, flexing your feet, pushing the heels away, reaching the left arm up as you lift the hips up away from the mat. If we allow the hips to dump down, then all the weight's going to go into that right wrist. So keep lifting up the hips. Then take the left hand back to the mat and find your plank position. Pick the left leg up and back, breathing in, and then exhale, bring your knee through to your nose. Inhale, extend the left leg back. Exhaling, knee to left tricep. Inhaling back, and exhale, bring the knee across the body to tap the right tricep. Inhale back, and make your way into downward dog. Deep breath. Inhale, look forwards, and we're going to step through to seated. If you're familiar with jumping to cross-legged, you're welcome to jump. Otherwise, bring your left knee to your left wrist, right knee to right wrist, crossing your legs at the ankles, and sitting back down. Stretching your legs forwards, we're going to take a seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana A and B. So reach for your big toes with your index and middle finger. You can bend your knees here, take a breath in, lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, fold forwards. Really have a sense of reaching the chest towards the feet, so we're keeping the front body long. Press back into your sit bones and breathe deeply. If you find your legs are really bent here and you're not getting much of a hamstring stretch, feel free to release your toes and place your hands on your shins. Don't worry how much you're sitting up, but do focus on keeping the spine long and reaching from the hip creases. If you feel you're in enough of a stretch here, you're welcome to stay put. If you'd like to go deeper, then this time wrap your hands around your feet. So thumbs at the base of the big toes, and then pull the little toes in towards you, so squaring off the feet. Breathe in, lengthen again, and exhale, fold forwards, drawing your navel in towards the spine. Stay for a few breaths. Then inhale, look forwards, and exhale, release your hands. Take your hands behind you now for Purvottanasana. Make sure the hands are a good few inches behind the backside, so don't have them too close. Spread the fingers wide, point the toes, firm up the thighs, and roll your thighs inwards. Pull the lower belly in, and lift the chest up towards the ceiling, taking a breath in. Now you can stay here with the hips on the ground, or you can lift the hips all the way up, gazing up or gazing back if that feels okay for the neck. Working all 10 toes towards the ground. Keep lifting the hips up, lifting up through your heart center, engaging your glutes. So engage in the backside a little. Keep working the toes down. Take one last inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lower your hips to the ground. Now take your hands next to your hips, about in the center of your thighs. So move them slightly down away from the hips. From here we're going to lift the hips up off the ground. So take a breath in. As you exhale, pull the belly in towards the spine and lift your hips up. If this feels okay, hold it here. And then maybe practice lifting the right leg up, pointing the toes. And then place the foot back down. Practice lifting the left leg up, pointing the toes, and then placing the left leg back down. If you've had enough, feel free to come back to the mat. Otherwise, we're going to lift our hips back a bit and practice lifting both feet, really pulling up through your center, and then placing the hips and your feet back down. From here, we're going to bend the knees. So place your hands behind the knees, come up onto your tiptoes and bring your chest and thighs towards each other. Find a space between your sit bones and your tailbone. If you find you're on your tailbone, then rock forward slightly. Lift the chest up, taking a breath in, sliding the feet in, and then picking the feet off the floor. If you can pick your feet up without rolling back onto the tailbone, do so and bring them in line with your knees. Otherwise, you can keep the feet halfway down or even keep the feet on the floor. But if the feet are up, you have the choice to stay holding behind the knees or take your arms out in front of you. And we're going to take some toe taps. So from here, tap the right foot down, bring it back up. Left foot down, bring it back up. Repeat, right foot and up, left foot and up. Keep your spine long, keep going. If you find you're rounding in the back, maybe hold behind the knees. We want to keep the spine long, chest lifted, and bracing strongly through the abdominal muscles. Let's take one more on each side. And then two options here. You can place your toes down or you can keep your feet up. And we're going to take our arms out in front of us. Again, you can hold behind the knees if you like and slowly lower down. Otherwise, keep your arms out and slowly lower down into half boat. At any point, you can take your forearms to the floor. Otherwise, keep those arms reaching forward, legs are strong, pulling the lower belly in. And then from here, slowly lower the body to the ground. Finishing with a twist. Bring your right knee into the chest and keep your left leg extending away from you, foot resting on the ground. As you exhale, take the right knee across the body and stretch your right arm out to the side. Gazing over the right shoulder, just a nice easy twist now, keeping the right shoulder blade to the ground. Just settling down, preparing yourself for relaxation. One last breath, nice big deep breath. And then roll back to center and switch legs. So stretch your right leg out, bring your left knee in, gently push your way through your right heel, and then take the left knee across the body. Stretch your left arm out if it feels okay for the neck. Gaze over the left shoulder. And then release and roll back to center. Stretch both your legs out, taking the feet about as wide as the width of the mat. Let your feet flop out to the side, arms by the sides of the body, palms face up. Gently draw the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe draw the chin a little towards the chest so the back of the neck is long and relaxed. Close your eyes. If you're feeling any discomfort in the lower back, bend your knees, making sure that you can lie in Shavasana without any distractions. So thank you for joining me today. Please feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. Hope to see you again soon.